What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We got a Houston Texans franchise video for you, and in this one it's it's kind of the off-season. Not really, not technically, but it's the Texans off-season because we were just eliminated by the Oakland Raiders in the divisional round. They went on to play the New England Patriots, and of course, the Patriots took care of business. So Tom Brady ended up throwing for 5 touchdowns. You guys can see in the league news here. If I scroll over to the right here, there you go. So Tom Brady, actually 6 touchdown passes. And pretty interesting, as I'm watching the Eagles and the Vikings game right now, an NFC East champion, the Dallas Cowboys, are headed to the Super Bowl. So Jason Garrett finally leads the Cowboys to a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott taking on Tom Brady. So that'll be an interesting matchup to take a look at as we simulate this off-season. So in this episode, guys, what I want to cover is some scouting some college players. So we'll go over this right now. Still only have a 3rd round and a 5th round. I think 6 and 7. So we only have 4 draft picks. 3rd, 5th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So I kind of want to make a trade here to acquire some draft picks, possibly move back into the 1st round, so we'll look into that a little bit. But I want to start focusing on some 1st rounders here because just in case we do move up in the draft, you want to focus on some early round draft picks because honestly, I feel like that's what we need. We could go the route of only doing 5th rounders, late rounders, mid rounders, 3rd, 5th, and 6th. But honestly, that's not really going to cut it. Not really going to push us over the top. So I think that we need some help on the defensive line. I think we need help on the secondary, and I feel like we need at least one more wide receiver to help put us over the top because the Texans are pretty young. And definitely have a solid core, really getting ready to take the next step. So, guys, as we advanced the week here, check out who won the Super Bowl. The Patriots. They won the Super Bowl, guys. So, 41-3, the New England Patriots just walloped Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. So, for you Cowboys fans, sorry. Not sorry. This is coming from a Patriots fan over here. So pretty interesting that they faced an NFC East opponent. It's looking like, as it stands right now, as soon as I'm saying this and recording this, as I'm talking about it, that the Eagles are going to take care of business against the Vikings in real life. So it'll be an NFC East team, the Eagles, taking on AFC East New England Patriots in real life, and then we got an AFC East, NFC East showdown here in this game. So check out some draft stories there. I don't think we're going to be even getting close to guys like Jerron McAfee. He's a top cornerback in this draft. And then Scotty Jockel out of Wisconsin. He's a top wide receiver. I don't think we're going to be touching those guys. Very, very early round draft picks. We're probably going to look, if we're going to move up into the draft, I think we'll probably end up getting maybe a middle to late 1st round draft pick, maybe even early 2nd. But we'll just have to see how we do from here. But got some guys to sign. I want to try to sign Xavier Su'a-Filo. He's asking for 8.58. That's considered a fair deal for him. So pretty good left guard. 27 years old. He's only been a 4-year pro. To me, that's good enough for a depth guy. I didn't want to give him that much money. Especially to be a 75 overall. We're looking at 80s. We're looking at 80 overall type players. But Dorial Green-Beckham was huge for us, even as a 72. Got to sign him. So he's coming back. Corey Moore. Want to try to get him at 25 years old. He's been a 3-year pro. Pretty solid backup free safety. So glad that he's coming back. Quessenberry, I want to try to get him. Chris Clark as well. So Quessenberry is testing free agency, which sucks, but we'll have to address right guard later on in the free agents period. Marcus Roberson started to return some kicks for us, had a pretty okay job at doing that. I like the depth there for 68 overall, so we'll try to offer him then he decided to go elsewhere. So kind of less than stellar right now, guys. I'm debating on Bruno Giacomini or Mike Catapano, the Italians, the Italians of this team. Mike Catapano, Giacomini, I'm leaning more towards Catapano, so let's try to get him signed, which he is, so that's good. Kendall Lamb, 26 years old, left tackle. I like the 68 overall depth. That's a good thing. So looks like he didn't want to sign it either, which sucks. But Chris Clark, 32 years old, 70 overall. I feel like we could do a little bit better than that. I know I mentioned that I want to try to get him back, but I feel like we could do better than 70 overall. James Hurst, he's coming back. James Hurst was actually a pretty solid player for us at left guard. Tom Savage is a must-get to bring back, even though I kind of struggled with him in the Deshaun Watson injury. But once you start getting used to Tom Savage and his throwing, like he likes those slants and up the middle type throws, doesn't do too well on the sidelines. Dan Williams is re-signed as well, so we have that interior big man presence, which is good. So it's okay. We did okay re-signing some of our players. But here's the free agent class, guys. So we got LeGarrette Blount, Jeremy Hill. I don't really feel like tight end or running back is a need for us. Floyd there at defensive tackle. We did sign Dan Williams, so not really too much interest there. Tight end again, Deion Lewis. I love Deion Lewis as a Patriots guy, but then again, I love Pittsburgh Panther running backs, LaShawn McCoy, Deion Lewis. Those guys were awesome in college, and they're really good pros. But again, guys, you see some offensive linemen here. There's John Greco. I was interested in Greco, but we didn't end up making a play for him. The age kind of threw me off. 33 years old. Dante Moncrief would be a huge get, but I feel like 80 overall is definitely going to take some targets away from Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins. So we don't want that. We want to keep our guys happy. We want to keep Will Fuller especially happy because I like Will Fuller. Paul Richardson is a perfect guy to get. Eli Rogers, it kind of drops off here. So Adam Humphries, Quentin Patton, Kamar Aiken, Malcolm Floyd. Is that Malcolm or Michael? I can't even go back because I already recorded this. But Paul Richardson is solid. I love Paul Richardson. He came out of Colorado. Good player. Had a really nice season for the Seahawks in 2017 in real life. So Paul Richardson would be a really good get. Now, sure, it would take away targets from Dorial Green-Beckham and Jalen Strong, maybe even Braxton Miller. But if we're being honest, with Braxton Miller's injury, that's the reason why Dorial Green-Beckham was more involved in the offense, which is not a problem for me. So, but Braxton Miller for me doesn't do a whole lot in our offense. So he's not tall enough, he's not big enough, he doesn't go up for any grabs. He's more like a screen type player, slant type of player. So I do like Paul Richardson. I think his height, I think his speed is a nice blend, is a nice asset to the team. It gives Deshaun Watson another weapon. So that would be a really good get. We also are trying to get Pacer. Would be really good for our offensive line. Very solid player. Definitely is very strong. So help our run game out a ton. So it can kind of take some pressure off of Deshaun Watson in the passing game. Can help Lamar Miller and Alfred Blue get going. Maybe even Deonta Foreman. I almost said Devonta Freeman. But man, let's try to say that. Devonta Freeman, Deonta Foreman. Sounds so similar. But linebacker, took a look at some linebackers there. I think we're pretty set at linebacker. I mean, you got Merciless, you have Jadeveon Clowney and Bernard McKinney. Like, linebacker's pretty solid for us. Corner and secondary could use some help. I like Deshaun Shed. I like Brandon Carr more than Shed, though. 32 years old for Brandon Carr. And, after that playoff game against Marshawn Lynch, I would say that a guy like Brandon Carr is going to help us. He's a run support type of corner. He might even be our second best corner, which actually, if I think I go back and I look at the roster here, so if we end up signing Brandon Carr. He's going to be a great player for that secondary and that defense for us. So good player to get. I do like Will Blackman as well. Raphael Bush as a free safety might even attempt to push Andre Hall to try to get him going. McDonald Jr. would be a good get too. Eric Reed. So, I mean, even Sendejo here would be a good get. A lot of good strong safeties as well. Patrick Chung would be a nice cheap option. Look at what Sendejo's offering. He wants $3.3 million over 2 years, so 4.96. But if we go down and we look at Patrick Chung, he's only asking for 1.9 on a 1 year deal. So kind of the same thing. I call him Eric Pleasant, Eddie Pleasant. He wants 3.6. So Patrick Chung is a nice cheap option. Makes sense for us. He's also really good in the run. He's a hard hitter, good tackler, and that's really what we need. We need guys that are going to be able to step up. Might even be able to put him at in a dime coverage as like a fourth corner, maybe even like a nickel. So it helps our secondary big time. So I do like Patrick Chung. He does that for the Patriots a lot. So we did get Brandon Carr and Patrick Chung. So those are big signings for our Houston Texans right here. But Paystor did not sign for us. I think it was probably the money. I think someone just overpaid to get him. So let's just take a look at where he's at. So yeah, he's gone. He's gone. So Paystor signed with someone. Let's check out and see who he did sign with. The Jets. So you guys will notice here that the Jets actually they made a killing on this free agent class. So because we didn't get Paystor and it was a big signing for them, I'm thinking there's not a whole lot of big names here left on the board. So I want to check out who signed with who. So let's go to that screen and see who signed to all these other teams here. So let's just go to this top 100. So Paul Richardson is still on the board and nobody's going after him, which is good. Drew Brees going to the Redskins. What? Where is Kirk Cousins? I didn't see him in this free agent class here. So are they going to trade Kirk Cousins? They can't bench Kirk Cousins, not for Drew Brees. I mean, why have both of those guys at quarterback? Charles Sims goes to the Eagles. McKinnon goes to the Buccaneers. Eddie Lacy, Timmy Jernigan, Bridgewater going to the Jets, guys. So like I said, the Jets are making a killing right now in the free agent class. Moncrief goes to the Dallas Cowboys. McDougal goes to, I forgot who that was, but Philly Brown re-signs with the Panthers. Easily with the Redskins. Obviously Paystor. There's Callahan. Man, see the Jets, guys. Eric Reed goes to the Cardinals. So they got Deshaun Shedd and Eric Reed. Garoppolo goes to the Cowboys. So pretty funny, pretty interesting storyline. So the Patriots won the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo was not traded from the Patriots, so he was their backup. And now Garoppolo goes to the Super Bowl loser, the Cowboys, and they're trying to dig into the well of the Patriot well, I guess you'd say. So they're going with Garoppolo to be their starter. So pretty cool. And actually pretty funny, too, that Tony Romo came out of Eastern Illinois. So did Jimmy Garoppolo. So did Tony Romo have something to do with the Cowboys brass signing Garoppolo? Pretty funny. Suafilo goes to the Chargers. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I didn't feel like spending that much money on him. Hopefully he does well out in San Diego. We got Greg Robinson. Eli Rogers goes to the Chiefs. AJ Klein goes to the Saints. I think he just re-signed with the Saints. Then Dontrell Inman. Allen goes to the Cardinals. So the Cardinals even made a killing. So pretty, I would say the most active guys in this free agent period, guys, are the Jets and the Cardinals. So we'll just have to see what happens with both of those teams. I think the Jets, we're looking at it like, hey, we went 1-15 this year, and we just need to get talent. And the Cardinals were basically saying we're tired of losing in the playoffs. We want to make a splash, right? So we'll just have to see what happens with them. But going back into the scouting, guys, so we do have the combine results. So we're going to look at the players that we think are going to help us. And it's going to be interesting to see everybody's combine grades to see were our guys, the guys that we were interested in, are they any good? You know, are they really a first rounder? Are they really a second rounder? So we'll take a look at that. But Jerron McAfee looks every bit of the part of a first round draft pick there, especially at corner. I would really like to grab him, so we'll have to try to make a trade here pretty soon in this episode to see if we can at least get in the first round early enough to try to grab him. There's Scotty Jockle, 7.3 combine grade. That's the best out of the top 7 at least. But look at his grades, guys. He only runs a 4.5. So he's not the fastest wide receiver, but he catches everything. 6'2" out of Wisconsin. That's what they do. That's what they do. They've never really had a huge playmaking wide receiver other than Lee Evans, if you guys remember that far back for the Buffalo Bills. Elijah Clinton out of LSU, the route runner, 5'10". I'm not sure how tall Odell Beckham is, or that might be like a Jarvis Landry type. I don't even know how tall Jarvis Landry is, but I know it's not over 6 foot. But yeah, so he might be pretty good. Long Stevens out of East Carolina. Yeah, the talent goes undrafted, but he's projected as a late 4th. So, guys, like we said earlier on in this franchise mode, this series, a couple episodes ago, the later round picks just are not there. Like, you're almost forced to taking a guy whose talent level is not where they're projected to go. So that kind of sucks. So it's a very top-heavy type of draft, which does not bode very well for our draft this season because we don't have any picks. Literally, like I said before, we have 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So the later we go, the more we're not really getting any bang for the buck. So there's Hayes Cunningham. Talent level is a 7th rounder, but he's a mid-5th round pick. 6.6 combine grade. So not too bad, but he runs a 4.6. So out of Liberty. Liberty University. He's not going to blow you away. Not a guy like that's not going to blow you away. So, yeah, pretty bad. But there's Gordon Brennan out of Pittsburgh, 7.1 combine grade. So he's not too bad. 4.5, 6.5, red zone threat out of Pitt. That's pretty good. I like that. So he's 7th round talent level, 5th round projection. Joseph Reed, red zone threat out of Bowling Green. 6'5". So it's like anytime you're a 6'5" wide receiver, it grades you as a red zone threat. Pretty funny. He ran a 4.6, I think that was. I kind of like that Chase Martino guy out of South Carolina. But again, only got 23 scouting points. Really no point in scouting any of those wide receivers as we move forward because, if we're being honest, guys, it doesn't. There's so many wide receivers in that list that are late rounders, but their talent level is it's a shot in the dark, really. It's just a shot in the dark. You have no idea what's going to happen. There's Le'Veon Wilford, 6'4" out of Louisville. Might be a good pick for us. Really solve that offensive line issue. We're kind of young there, but we do need to get solid. We need to get solid on that offensive line. There were a lot of times where Watson was running for his life, giving up sacks all over the place. Alfred Blue and Lamar Miller couldn't find any running room. Kendall Joseph, he had a pretty bad senior bowl, and so did Labinjo. So there was some talk on the news wire that that they're not really everything they're cracked up to be. Avery Green, a really good player out of Michigan State, who fit our scheme nicely in a 3-4. Tyler Hull out of Oregon, speed rush. Probably a mid-round pick. Gordon Breckner, we have not scouted this guy, so he must have had a really good combine because he had a 7. So the bench press stuff, 40 reps. He's the first out of all right ends out of Florida State, the 3-4. He would fit our scheme pretty nicely as well. So Paul Richardson, let's go back to this screen here. We advanced a week. So Richardson is now a Houston Texan, guys. So if we look at the depth chart, we'll see that Richardson immediately slides into that wide receiver 3 role. So, which is really good. Really, really good. Because now you've got Braxton Miller as your 4th and then Green Beckham as your 5th. Jalen Strong, guys, I don't see where Jalen Strong fits on this team. He's just a depth guy. Like, I liked him coming out of Arizona State, but he just hasn't done anything. He just has not done anything with us this season and in real life. I've followed the Houston Texans for quite a while, and I remember one game where he had 2 touchdowns against the Colts. But other than that, Jalen Strong has not really done a whole lot. So you guys can look and see the depth chart here. Hopkins, Fuller, Richardson, Miller, Strong, and Green Beckham. But I kind of like Green Beckham to be our 5th guy, maybe even our 4th guy, ahead of Braxton Miller. So we'll just have to see. We're now in the trade screen, guys. We're looking at some moves to make here, where we can move up in the draft, see what we can get for some of our players. If we look at the linebacking situation, that is where we're most talented at. As you guys can see, we got 90 overall Clowney, we got 90 overall Merciless, and I think it was an 85 overall McKinney, and an 80 overall Brian Cushing. So, we got some depth at linebacker. So I'm thinking Brian Cushing is probably the odd man out there. I love McKinney's tackling ability. I know Brian Cushing came out of USC, and he was Clay Matthews' partner in crime there. And he's a leader. He's a leader type in that locker room for Houston on the defense, with that J.J. Watt type of leadership. He's a really good player for them. But I think for us, if we're looking to move anybody, he would be a guy that we need to move. I'm not moving McKinney. I'm not moving Clowney. Don't want to move Merciless either. They do a lot of really good things for the Texans, and honestly, looking to make a trade here with the Bills, trying to get that 17th overall pick, and I think that's what we really need to go after as a mid-first rounder. Only because offering guys like a McKinney or a Merciless or a Clowney, that would probably net us a first-round pick, an early first-round pick. A guy like Brian Cushing should get you a mid to late first-rounder. I don't want to toy with a second-rounder. I mean, I want to do everything that we possibly can to get back into the first-rounder. If that's just not going to happen, then maybe we might have to consider cutting our losses here and trying to get a second-round pick. But for all intents and purposes, we are going after that first rounder. So let's offer Cushing in Virgin. Interested, but they're not going to take it. So let's see what other players we could possibly offer. I'm looking at Corey Moore. I don't want to give him up because we just re-signed him, and he does give us a nice little stability there with free safety. But we also did get Patrick Chung. He could play everywhere, and still not going to do it. But they like Corey Moore a little bit more than Virgin for obvious reasons. He's higher overall. Running back, I kind of like where we're at with running back. Wide receiver, Braxton Miller might be a little bit too much. Let's offer Jalen Strong, because like I said, I'm not big on Jalen Strong, and he's the same overall rating as Corey Moore, and they're still not going to do it. So probably going to have to offer up a pick instead of a player. I didn't want to do it, but let's just try to give him this fourth rounder with Brian Cushing. And okay, all right, cool. So guys, we have got it. We got our first round pick. We are back in the first round. We have our first round with the 17th overall pick in the draft. So guys, with that trade with Brian Cushing, leaves an empty hole here at middle linebacker. Obviously some good players on this board though, but I like Zachary Orr. I played for the Baltimore Ravens for a couple years back in 2014. Ended his career with some spinal injuries. But he's recently said, even before the season started in 2017, that he wanted to make a comeback into the NFL. And, 75 overall type of player. We got nice depth at linebacker. and he's only 5 overall points away from Brian Cushing was. So, and he's younger. It makes sense. Let's take a chance on Zach Orr. He was a tackling machine with Baltimore. He was a very, very good player there. So he's a good depth guy for us. The injuries are kind of scary, but the guy wants to come back and play football. So let's give him a shot. All right, so with the draft now, we now have a first-round pick. So let's start looking at some guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that we were kind of ignoring during the season, since now we've got a first-rounder. So Nate Skakanik, free safety out of Alabama, 5'11", 203. The size is kind of an issue for a safety. 203 pounds. He's not. They say he's a playmaker, but I don't know, guy. I don't know. That's tiny. That's tiny for a linebacker. He would fit into that mold of being kind of a nickel guy, kind of like Patrick Chung, what he does, right? Being able to do everything and anything and everything. But yeah, so guys, so Zach Orr signs. The Skakanik pick, we'll have to go over that in the next episode. But we've got our first rounder. We've got a good situation heading into the next episode. So guys, if you like this episode, leave a like. If you like the Houston Texans franchise and where it's headed, leave a like. And I'll see you guys in the next one. In the next one, we'll be covering the draft, what picks we're going to make. We might even make some draft pick trades going into the next season. So we might acquire some picks, some future picks. So, guys, leave a like. And if you like it, love it, you want more of it, you know what you got to do. Hit that little red button for a subscribe or my logo. And I'll see you next time with another Houston Texans franchise video. And as always, peace.